What if I told you that the feeling of the wish fulfilled allows you to draw any amount of money and any physical state you desire to you? And I don't just know this theoretically, I know it from my own personal experience, and I know it from having coached hundreds of people in the last 5 years. And during this time, I stayed in the wish fulfilled every single day, and as a result, I attracted my SP within 14 days. I was able to physically heal my body from severe nerve damage after a surgery, even though every doctor told me that it will never heal. And I was able to go from making less than $1,000 a month to now making well over $20,000 a month. And as I just mentioned, being in a fulfilling relationship. And you can do the same, and that's why in today's video I'm going to reveal the by far biggest misconception that 99% of people who try to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled have, the two elements that you absolutely must combine in order to create the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and what you have to let go of in order to stay in the wish fulfilled. And if you fail at doing this, nothing will manifest. And I want you to keep in mind that each method and each technique that I share with you in this episode build a framework. And by you only missing out on one technique or one method, this could mean that you don't achieve the results that you want to achieve. So make sure that you watch this video till the very end. Now, what if I told you that 99% of people completely misunderstand what the feeling of the wish fulfilled actually means? And I was one of them, because when I embarked on my spiritual journey through a very rough spiritual awakening in the year 2020, I studied all kinds of teachers, from Abraham Hicks to Bob Proctor to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and of course also Neville Goddard. And Joe Dispenza back then was always talking about, and he still is today, about the elevated emotion and the importance of the elevated emotion. And I then falsely assumed that Neville Goddard meant the exact same. Thankfully, this one day the universe directly spoke to me and allowed me to open my eyes to the truth. I, the universe, have to tell you that Neville Goddard doesn't even talk about an emotion when he speaks of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And yes, it's true. The shocking truth is that Neville Goddard doesn't even talk about an emotion when he mentions the feeling of the wish fulfilled. In fact, he says, "When I speak of feeling, I do not mean emotion, but acceptance of the fact that the desire is fulfilled." It's simply a state of acceptance. However, I truly believe that this state of acceptance can be perfectly combined with an elevated emotion or multiple elevated emotions that for you are the natural result of this state of acceptance. And this is also something that Neville Goddard talks about in another quote that I want to share with you in just a moment. Because beyond the feeling of accepting, I asked myself at the beginning of my money manifestation journey, what emotion would I feel if I already had the money that I want? And that's exactly why I was able to go from making $1,000 a month, often less, to making well over $20,000 a month. And for me, the guiding emotion was always freedom. The freedom to live wherever I wanted to live, the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do, the freedom to travel wherever I wanted to travel to, and of course, to travel in my beloved business class. And while the feeling of the wish fulfilled itself is a state of acceptance, you are allowed to associate any emotion to this state of acceptance. And because I have now remained in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in this state of acceptance for such a long time, my whole body, my whole being is filled with the emotion that I associate to this state of acceptance, which is pure freedom. Now, have you ever wondered which words, and yes, also which emotions, Neville Goddard associates with the feeling of the wish fulfilled and describes the feeling of the wish fulfilled with? Because when I embarked on this journey of truly understanding Neville Goddard and his teachings, I was reading his lectures over and over again. I was listening to them over and over again. And at some point I was even dreaming of Neville Goddard. And eventually, after listening to and reading lecture after lecture, I finally found the exact words in which Neville Goddard describes the emotions that he associates to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Here's what Neville Goddard says in Feeling is the Secret. All you can possibly need or desire is already yours. You need no helper to give it to you. It is yours now. Call your desires into being by imagining and feeling your wish fulfilled. Having witnessed the end, regardless of any anticlimactic sequence, you remain calm and secure in the knowledge that the end has been perfectly defined. So Neville Goddard associates the feelings of calmness and security with the wish fulfilled, and it makes complete sense. Because if you are not calm and not secure, if you're worrying about when will the manifestation come to me, how will it come to me, then you are not in this emotional state of calmness and security. But if you're convinced, if you're truly convinced that the manifestation will flow to you, then there's no insecurity anymore. There's no worrying about when and how it will come to you. And that's when you're in the perfect emotional state to draw the experience to you faster than the road runner can say, meet me. But what does that mean for you in a practical context if you want to manifest something? In the first step, you want to define your desire, the desire that you want to materialize. And then, besides using manifestation techniques to manifest, you also want to calm your nervous system down, because you want to reach the state of inner calmness and security. And if all day long you're stressing yourself out and you're going from one appointment to the next and you never sit down and you're never quiet for a moment, then it will be very hard for you to remain in that emotional state of calmness and security. And I've experienced quantum leaps on my physical healing journey once I meditated more, once I calmed my nervous system down. And the same happened to me when it comes to manifesting money. I mean, back in the days when I was making less than $1,000 a month, I was working 12 hours a day, sometimes even more. And at 5 p.m. I was lying on the couch going, can somebody shoot me? I can't get up anymore. And nowadays I'm working about 5 hours a day, sometimes 4, and I'm making more than 20 times the money. But I'm calm, I'm secure, and that's why the manifestation flows to me. Because remember that you won't be able to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled if you're stressing out about everything, even if you're stressing out about things that have nothing to do with your manifestation, because this stressful state will then influence you to think more stress-related about your manifestation. And then you think to yourself, when the beep will it come to me? How will it come to me? What's going on? When will I finally get my money? So who would have thought that simply chillaxing has such a powerful effect on your ability to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled? So comment down below, I chillax and I stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And now we're going to continue with the next point. Imagine for a moment that there were two elements that you could effortlessly combine with each other, and staying in the wish fulfilled 24/7 was inevitable. When I started out going into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, I was still too timid. I was holding back, and I then eventually realized that Neville Goddard wants us to experience the imaginal act with all tones of reality, which means you experience the sound, taste, smell, touch, and everything that the imaginal reality has to offer, so that this imaginal reality then, through the bridge of incidence, can become your physical reality. And yes, smelling and tasting should be included, because smelling and tasting your reality can be so delicious. And in The Power of Awareness, Neville Goddard says, the great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. So yes, you have to crowd all other ideas out of your consciousness. And what are these ideas? Well, the idea of failure. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. The idea of not having what you want to manifest. oh, I might have it in the future, maybe someday, maybe somewhere out there in the future, and you then continue to walk around like a donkey with the carrot in front of him and going like, oh, where's my manifestation? So you have to let go of all of that. You don't want to walk around like a donkey with a carrot dangling in front and just following your manifestation. You have to get the feeling in the imaginal act of being in this reality right now. And the best way to get out of this limiting state is not by focusing on it, because what you resist persists, but by focusing on being unlimited. So immerse yourself into the imaginal act. See yourself walking around on the floor in your dream house. See yourself swimming in the pool in the backyard, and truly allow yourself to immerse yourself in the imaginal act. So combine the controlled imagination with the well-sustained attention on your desire, and what you want can and will manifest. I've experienced it in my life, and so many of my clients have experienced it as well. And by the way, in my 8-week Abundance Reality Shift coaching program, we will not only focus on creating your new self-concept, which is what we're going to do in week number 3, but we will also go into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. We will practice different visualization techniques so that you can truly master the art of controlling your imagination. And if you don't do what I'm about to share with you right now in this moment, it will be impossible for you to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And I wish that it was as easy as simply saying 1 or 2 affirmations and boom bada boom, all your dreams will become reality. Well, let me say it like this: affirmations can be enough, but only if you do this. Mirror, mirror, am I already the abundant self? Am I dressing like the abundant self? What the heck is my self-concept? Staying in the wish fulfilled is only possible if you become that which you want to manifest, and this is an uncomfortable truth for a lot of people. But if you embrace this truth, your life will change forever, because in your faith is your fortune. Neville Goddard says, waste no time trying to change the outside. Change the within or the impression, and the without or expression will take care of itself. I am, your consciousness, is the magical lost word which was made flesh in the likeness of that which you are conscious of being. So ask yourself this: how can you possibly stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled? And the wish fulfilled is the abundant self, is the abundant life, when all you see when you look in the mirror is somebody who is broke, is somebody who's struggling with money, is somebody who's living in lack. That's not how it works. Because your behavior will naturally, inevitably influence the way you think about yourself and money, and so does your appearance. So ask yourself, wouldn't it be easier for you to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled if the manifestation you want to draw to you is abundance, if you dressed like somebody who is abundant? And wouldn't it be easier for you to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled if the wish fulfilled is abundance, if you then behave like somebody who is abundant? And yes, you can do that even though your physical bank account in your physical reality might not reflect the amount of money that you want to manifest yet. Because nobody is stopping you from taking a walk in the most abundant neighborhood in your city. That's what an abundant person would do. And nobody is stopping you from learning about investing. That's what an abundant person would do. And nobody is stopping you from sitting in a cafe that is a little bit more luxurious than the cafe you're usually going to and ordering a simple coffee, even though it might be $1 or $2 more than that. I guarantee you that by you spending these $1 or $2 more and feeling abundant while you're in that cafe, you will attract so much more money than these $1 or $2. But after having practiced going into the imaginal act, there is one thing that 99% of people who manifest with the law of assumption completely neglect. And this is one of the biggest mistakes you can possibly make. And do you remember how at the beginning of this video I shared with you that I was studying all kinds of different spiritual teachers, including Dr. Joe Dispenza. In fact, I've already been to 3 week-long advanced retreats from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I fully and wholeheartedly believe that you can perfectly combine the teachings and the methods of Neville Goddard with the meditations of Dr. Joe Dispenza to go into the imaginal act, because I'm not one of these people. My spiritual teacher is better than yours. Yours is not good. No, my spiritual teacher is better. Oh, how dare you say that? You want to fight? You want to fight? Come here. No, we are not fighting here. We are all about love, energy, and believe it or not, but there are certain principles, in fact a lot of them, where Neville Goddard and Dr. Joe Dispenza agree with each other. And one of these principles is the power of meditation, because meditation allows you to truly immerse yourself into the imaginal act and into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And here's what Neville Goddard says: in your faith is your fortune. Lose yourself in your desire. Feel yourself to be one with it. Remain in this fixation until you have absorbed the life and name by claiming and feeling yourself to be and to have that which you desire. When you emerge from the hour of prayer, you must do so conscious of being and possessing that which you heretofore desired. And yes, meditation can be a powerful way of immersing yourself into the act of praying. And there hasn't been a day in the last 1460 days where I didn't meditate, where I didn't allow myself to draw what I wanted to manifest to me through the act of meditation. And for me personally, this hour of prayer is a deep meditation. And of course, you can conduct this hour of prayer in a different way if you want to. I can just tell you from my own experience and from having seen the transformations from so many of my amazing coaching clients, that an hour of prayer a day doesn't just keep the doctor away, but it also allows you to build the bridge of incidence in such a magical, magnificent way that what you want can easily flow to you. The next step I'm about to share with you is perhaps the most disregarded step of all of them, and it's also the step that, if you truly realize what's going on, can lead to the most powerful breakthroughs. Because in my humble opinion, a lot of people misinterpret Neville Goddard's principle of letting go the wrong way. They believe that letting go means to manifest once, to meditate once, or to affirm once, and to then simply let go of their desire and to no longer care whether or not it will come to them. But the truth is that if you're sick, you cannot simply let go of the desire to be healthy. And if you want to be wealthy, because right now you can't even pay your bills, you cannot let go of the desire to have way more money than you have right now in your physical reality. And even the universe says, "Why would you only meditate once? I meditate 2 times every day. It's beautiful." In fact, there are multiple lectures in which Neville Goddard emphasizes the importance of feeling the feeling of the wish fulfilled repeatedly and of going into the imaginal act repeatedly. The quote I shared with you earlier is just one example, and here is the first part of it again. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. But if it's not your desire that you have to let go of, and it's not your manifestation practice that you have to let go of in order to manifest all the love and the physical healing and the wealth that you want, what do you have to let go of? Remaining in the feeling of the wish fulfilled means to let go of the obsession of when and how it will come to you, and only then will the bridge of incidence be built for you. Because only then can the signs, synchronicities, opportunities, serendipities find you, so that you can walk across this bridge of incidence and magically appear at your desired outcome, your desired reality, the fulfillment of your desire. Yes, the wish fulfilled. Because that's the state when seemingly unrelated events take place that then guide you over this bridge of incidents. And that's the state when nothing is clouding your consciousness, which is what Neville Goddard describes with the following words. This one knows that his I am, or consciousness, is his savior, so he lets all other saviors go. This quality, when disciplined, gives one the strength to let go. And that's why I now ask you, do you have the strength to let go? Do you have the strength to say, I believe in the imaginal act. I believe in the feeling of the wish fulfilled so much, and I immerse myself so much in it that I can fully let go of the obsession of when and how it will show up in my physical reality. Because that's when you reach a point where you are without doubt, without fear, without denial of the truth, which is that you are the creator, the I am. And only because I embraced this truth was I able to manifest financial freedom, a loving relationship, and physical healing. And what I also want to share with you very briefly is that I included a powerful new bonus, the ultimate guided meditation and guided hypnosis vault with more than 60 guided meditations and guided hypnosis files to my audio program, which is very affordable, and you can find it by clicking on the second link in the description or by going to affirmationtomanifestation.com/mastery. And now let's continue with the last step. The problem is that all the manifestation techniques and all the methods of staying in the feeling of the wish fulfilled will mean nothing if you're not able to do what I'm about to share with you now. Because I still remember how painful it was for me when I was bedridden with severe nerve damage and I was completely broke. I wanted a different reality so bad because that was my physical reality. And this is the reality that I wanted. I wanted to be able to jump, to run, to play basketball, to go to the gym. And this was my financial reality. And I wanted this reality. I wanted abundance. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to live where I wanted to live. Until finally the universe told me to relax. My dude, stop being so German. You have to relax. Just relax. What I hadn't realized back then is that in order to create the future I wanted to create, I had to relax in the present moment, because by relaxing into the present moment, you go deeper and deeper into the wish fulfilled, deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And in The Power of Awareness, Neville Goddard says, the present moment is all important, for it is only in the present moment that our assumptions can be controlled. The future becomes the present when you imagine that you already are what you will be when your assumption is fulfilled. And now we come full circle, because remember how I mentioned the importance of being relaxed and chillaxed? And do you remember how I mentioned that it's important to become that which you want to manifest in order to draw the physical experience to you? And the beautiful truth is that every day offers countless opportunities to relax into the present moment, to immerse yourself into the imaginal act, and to stay in the wish fulfilled. And if you do that every day, every week, every month, and every year, your life will become one magical experience. Money will come out of nowhere, opportunities will find you, the bridge of incidents will be built for you in ways that you cannot possibly predict. And if you're ready to experience this transformation with me, I invite you to go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/abundance to find out more about my 8-week Abundance Reality Shift coaching program. And yes, we're going to create your abundant self-concept, and yes, we're going to meditate together, and yes, you will learn every manifestation technique that allowed me to 20x my income. And you can then, when you go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/abundance, you can have a look at the video testimonials from previous coaching clients. And now you know everything about staying in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And as I mentioned in the video, nothing will change for you unless you change your self-concept. And if you're ready to discover how I was able to manifest $500,000 by stepping into a completely new self-concept, exactly how Neville Goddard teaches it, I invite you to watch this video next.